Hello, I'm Michael Morpurgo,
And I'm Michael Foreman.
and this is our lovely book, Flying Scotsman and the Best Birthday Ever, written by me and illustrated by him. Flying Scotsman and the Best Birthday Ever, by Michael Morpurgo, that's me, and Michael Foreman, that's him, because he did the pictures. Here we go. My dad was a train driver, but he wasn't just any old train driver. His train was the great Flying Scotsman. My favourite birthday treat when I was little was to walk with Mum and Dad to King's Cross Station in London to see Dad off to work. We'd stand on platform 10 and watch him patting the side of Flying Scotsman, always the shiniest and most beautiful train in the station. It was all a wonder to me to see him climbing up onto the footplate of the driver's cab, pulling on his driver's gloves, rubbing down his levers with his cloth, checking everything around him. I dreamed of only one thing: to be up there with him, to shovel the coal, to pull the whistle, to help him drive that magnificent giant of an engine. On each of my birthdays, Mum and I would stand there on the platform, hearing doors slamming and whistles blowing, watching the flag waving and Flying Scotsman like a waking dragon groaning and grinding into life. The chuffing and chuntering would begin very slowly, the wheels hardly turning at first, but soon enough she would be moving away, wrapped in a cloud of thundering smoke and hissing steam. To watch my smiling dad waving and calling out to me, "Happy birthday, Iris," was the best birthday present in the world. I felt so proud of him. My only sadness was that I was not going with him. After we'd seen the train off, I'd have breakfast with Mum in the station cafe, some lemonade and a sticky bun with a candle on it. Then I'd go off into school as happy as you like. I enjoyed going to school on my birthday because everyone sang, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you." They all sang that in assembly, and the teachers and my friends were nicer to me than usual. It was on my 8th birthday that Mr. Merton, our class teacher, asked all of us one at a time to make a wish. What do you wish for most in all the world? Iris, it's your turn first. You're the birthday girl. I didn't have to think about it. I wanted to go to King's Cross Station, get up on the driver's footplate on my dad's train, Flying Scotsman, and go all the way with him up to Scotland. It's the fastest train in the whole wide world, sir. Mr. Merton smiled down at me. I know it is, Iris, but I don't think little girls would be allowed up in the driver's cab, even though the driver is your dad. Far too dangerous. I lay in bed that night thinking about how unfair it was. Mr. Merton didn't tell anyone else they weren't allowed their wishes. Mine was the only wish that he said could never come true. I asked Mum the next day if I could go with Dad up to Scotland on Flying Scotsman one day soon. I was sure she'd say yes, but she replied, "No, Iris dear, maybe when you're older." But I wouldn't take no for an answer. I worked it all out, made a plan, and then I did it a few days later. I wrote a letter the night before. It said, "Dear Mum, gone on the train with Dad. Don't worry, I'll be all right. Love from Iris." It was a windy morning after a stormy night. I had not slept a wink. I lay there in bed, fully dressed under my blankets. I heard Dad getting up, heard the front door open and shut. I left a letter on my pillow, and then I crept out of the house. It was still dark as I followed Dad to the station, keeping a safe distance behind him, just in case he looked around. He didn't. No one was checking tickets on platform 10. I found an open door, climbed in, walked along and found the guard's van. Sat down beside some sacks and waited. Easy peasy. I heard the engine steaming up, felt the train trembling with it. Doors were slamming everywhere. I heard passengers' footsteps out on the platform, heard people talking, laughing. More sacks were thrown into the guard's van. The last sack landed with a thump, the door slammed closed. My hiding place was getting better and better. It was all going so well. I was sitting there, longing to hear the whistle, longing to feel the wheels turning, to hear the chuntering and the chuffing, but none of this happened.